So hello everyone. Today we are going to learn Perceptron based classification model. So without wasting any kind of time, let's get started. So our code has already been written. We'll just explain what the code does and how it works in backend. So these are the important libraries which we are going to use here. Without NumPy and pandas, nothing is possible to do in machine learning and deep learning. So today we are doing deep learning concepts, so we need to use these libraries. So firstly we need to use NumPy and pandas, and the third library is matplotlib, which is used for plotting the graphs, but it's not a big matter in this video. And fourthly, we have an Perceptron based model. This is a library from sklearn, and we need to import this, and we'll be learning more about this on the upcoming part. And then we need to use train and test split function. What this function does is, I'll be explaining what this function does. For an example, if we have 1,000 data set, 1,000 data points in a data set, where what train and test data does is it splits the data into two parts: train and test, right? So it splits the data in the train consists of 80% of data and test consists of 20% of data in a data set. Firstly, the perceptron based model will be working on this particular 80% of data, and it performs the task whatever the task is. And after that, secondly, again it performs, the perceptron based model is performed in this 20% of the data points. Now what this train and test split does is, when these values are predicted, after that these 20% of values are compared to this particular 80% of 80% of predicted values, and it checks the accuracy score, the prediction score, means how much the model has been predicted, how much is the accuracy of your model. So means this is basically used to compare or find the accuracy of a particular model. Apart from this, okay, let's go to the code again. So we need to use the train and test data splits, and here's our data set. This is MNIST train data set. You can find it on Google kaggle.com, and you can just simply write MNIST train data set and you will be finding the data set easily. So these are our data points. You might be thinking why the values are 0 everywhere and some points are of different integers and maximum are 0. It is because this is an deep learning concept, and it's on CNN, a perceptron and CNN combined. It is basically an image which has been converted into an Excel sheet or the data frames. So without wasting any time, let's move to next code. Before moving on to next code, we need to do data processing. How data processing is done: firstly we need to find the null values, what and all the null values we have, and we need to fill those null values, because if we have null values in our data set, then it might be an issue for us to predict the accurate score. So find the null values, we use a function of isNull. It finds if the data points are null or not, and after that, so we have used an if statement, where if the data is null, then any value is null from the data, then that data point should be filled with 0. Fill NA with 0, fill the null value with 0. Why we are filling the null value with 0 is because it is an image, as I told you earlier. It is an image, and if there is nothing in an image, that coordinate is called as 0. We write that coordinate as 0. So if value is null, then we would fill that part as 0. With that being said, a normalization will be completed here. And after that, what we are doing here is data ilog. We are using data ilog function, and what this df underscore x and df underscore y says. Okay, so data ilog function of 1 colon comma 1 selects all columns except the first one from the data frame of data and assigns to df underscore x. This part selects only means all the data points except the first column, and it is stored in df underscore x. And this colon comma 0, this function, what it does is it selects only the first column, not whole data set. It just selects the first column and it is assigned to df underscore y. After that, we need to perform a train test split on the input data of df underscore x and df underscore y, allocating 80% of the data for training of x train and y train, and 20% for the testing of y test, x test and y test. And we need to use random state. Why this random state is used? It is simply used for a random number which we'll be using every time for reproducibility. Yeah. Further, we need to create an instance of Perceptron classifier as PER. We have given a instance name as PER. Further, we need to fit the model of x train comma y train, and based on classification model. Hence predict the model for x test. Why we predict for x test is because x test is the actual value. X test and y test are the actual values of the data sets. So we predict the value using the predict function on Perceptron's Perceptron classification instance. So these are on the variable of pred, and we just print the pred. These are our predicted values. Each value in the array corresponds to a specific element within a data set or sequence. Further, we need to check the accuracy score. How we'll be checking this? We need to import an accuracy score function using sklearn metrics module, and this is the line how we're going to predict. Accuracy is a variable and accuracy function on two values, which are y test and predict. Predict are our predicted value, pred are our predicted values. And why we are using y test is because y test are the actual values of the our variable, and then the accuracy score functions and compares these two arrays and returns the proportion of correct predictions, which is the accuracy model. This is our accuracy model which has been predicted, and it is 0.8304, basically saying it's 83%. The accuracy score is 83%. So this was our Perceptron based classification model. You can find this code on my GitHub profile, and as you know, I have already shared my GitHub profile earlier. You can go and find my GitHub on my LinkedIn, and it is also this project has been posted on my LinkedIn profile as well. You can go and explore and find. If you have any doubt, you can comment and ask me. And that's all for today's video. Thank you.